very good evening and welcome to News Tonight at 8. My name is Patricia Lukoma, and in a short while we will be joined by Mugalu Mohammed. First though, let's look at the headlines. Arrested over alleged abuse of office. Doctor arrested for possession of illegal drugs. And then President Buhari to hold town hall meetings with Nigerians living in South Africa. In sports, Armed Forces Appreciation Motocross Championship on this weekend. It's time to dig into what's making headlines this evening, and starting off with Soroti, the Prime Minister's press unit. Prime Minister Dr. Hakana Rugunda has met with world leaders, heads of states and government heads of delegation and Uganda staff in New York. The meetings that included one with U.S. President Donald Trump were held on the sidelines of the 74th United Nations General Assembly and at Uganda House Conference Room. Let's have more on this.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Hakana Rugunda, has been in New York where he represented President Yoweri Museveni at the 74th United Nations General Assembly. Rugunda, who also delivered an address to the United Nations on how Uganda is tackling and fulfilling sustainable development goals, climate change, environment management, security, terrorism, poverty eradication, and democratization in the National Development Agenda, also held key bilateral meetings with world leaders and heads of delegations. During the reception of heads of state and governments with their spouses, Premier Rugunda, with his wife Jocelyn Rugunda, held bilateral meetings with the U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania Trump. The Premier also held a bilateral meeting with Iran President Hassan Rouhani at the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Issues discussed centered on trade, international cooperation between the two sister states, among others. During the week-long 74th General Assembly, Premier Dr. Hakana Rugunda held bilateral talks with the UN General Assembly Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the United Nations President Tijan Mohamed Bande, and their teams.
Yes, he did his PhD at Makerere University.
Yes, I know him very well. He's a historian.
Yes,
he's a historian.
And really,
yeah, he's a historian.
He was a great guy. He died when he was in Washington.
Yeah, he was actually going to come to NIPS when I was DG NIPS,
yes,
just after his tenure at Washington, because he was actually our staff.
That's correct.
At NIPS.
Premier, who was heading Uganda's delegation, also met and held bilateral discussions with South African Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor, Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Pamila, and former U.S. Ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Carlos. Premier Rugunda, who was in company of Uganda's permanent representative to the UN, Adonia Ayebare, also met with the Premier of St. Vincent Grenadines and also attended the launch of the Global Hub on the governance for sustainable development goals, among others. The Premier, with his delegation, also participated in high-level talks about Somalia, where Ugandan peacekeeping force is doing a lot of work. The King of Toro, Oyo Nyimba Rukidi IV, Minister of Water and Environment Sam Cheptoris, for Health Jane Ruth Acheng, State for Foreign Affairs Okello Oryem, and other senior government officials accompanied the Prime Minister to the week-long UN General Assembly in New York. Ambience. Doreen Nasasra reporting for UBC News.
Now, issues to do with Soroti University leadership. The top leadership of Soroti University, one of the recently opened high institutions of learning in eastern Uganda, has been arrested for alleged abuse of office and misappropriation of funds meant for the university. Now, these came after the investigation visit to Teso sub-region yesterday by the anti-corruption unit of State House, led by Lieutenant Colonel Edith Nakalima, following numerous complaints of alleged corruption at the university in 3 districts of Amuria, Bukedea, and Serere and Soroti municipality. The arrest took place during a meeting held at the university premises near Soroti municipality yesterday, where the suspects were handed over to Detective Criminal Investigation Department police officer, Senior Superintendent of Police Barnabas and Yenshimie. Those netted include, among others, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor John Robert Ikoja, and his deputy, who doubles as chairperson of the Contracts Committee, Lawrence Okema. It is alleged by the whistleblowers that 5.2 billion shillings that was provided to the university for the ICT department, which was payment of staff salaries and purchase of equipment, was diverted to other items that were not budgeted for. One of them was the purchase of mobile phones for the staff of the university, as well as paying fraudulently allowances to the staff, including one of the staff that was on interdiction. At another meeting that took place later at Soroti Luchiko Hall in Soroti municipality, all the accused in the whistleblowers report, the internal auditor, municipal engineer, treasurer, town clerk, contractors, procurement officers, and the contract manager, were all handed over to CID police to help in the investigations for alleged misappropriation of 8 billion shillings meant for the construction of USMID roads in Soroti municipality, with other funds not accounted for. Now, West Budama Member of Parliament Jacob Oboth has promised to table a private member's bill seeking amendment of the colonial idol and the disorderly law. This follows the president's directive ordering police to stop arresting people under this offense that he termed colonial. The president was this week addressing residents of Nansana.
This week, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ordered police to stop arresting people on idle and disorderly charges, calling it colonial nonsense. The president's directive followed continuous arrest of youth by police under the idle and disorderly law, stipulated under the Penal Code Act. However, although the president ordered police to stop these arrests, this does not automatically annul the law. It's against this background that members of parliament are seeking clarification from the Attorney General on the validity of the law, whose implementation has been scrapped.
Natural Speaker, the law still remains on the statute books. People can still be arrested and people can still be charged. And the magistrates are not going to cite the president's directive. They will rely on the evidence either to dismiss or convict.
Well, we're sorry about that technical problem. We will be bringing that story in our next bulletin. Now, moving on, and issues to do with e-government. The National Information Technology Authority, NITA Uganda, has decried public vandalism of internet cables, which derails internet connection efforts in hard-to-reach areas. NITA's Executive Director, James Saka, underscores the need to embrace subsidized internet connection, a government program currently ongoing across the country. He said this during an e-government consultative workshop in Soroti, where State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Moses Kizige urged Ugandans to desist from misusing social media. As we hear more.
It is open for all to see that Ugandans seek government and public services on a daily basis, although sometimes limited by weekends and public holidays. This is the challenge, to which a solution is being sought through subsidized internet connectivity across the country.
Higher internet penetration improves our GDP. As you are aware, in our country, most of our population now are young people. They use the internet to do business, to create jobs, and the national backbone infrastructure plays a key role in that area.
Over the years, an extension of about 3,000 kilometers across 39 districts of national backbone infrastructure has been realized, connecting over 400 government offices. In Phase 4 of the initiative, Teso and Karamoja sub-regions of eastern Uganda are the latest beneficiaries.
We completed 3 phases. This 4th phase covers West Nile and Moroto. So we've come to Soroti to bring together all the district leaders of this region where the national backbone infrastructure will pass, so that they support the implementation of the project as we implement it to take it to Moroto.
Karamoja has frog-leaped from nothingness to internet. They didn't have the television era, they didn't have the telephone era. Now they are using mobile telephones. And this national infrastructure, backbone infrastructure is very, very important to the people of Karamoja.
For Soroti, which is already connected to the system, some reservations have been made. The Soroti District LC5 chairperson, Michael Egonyo, wants internalization of what he describes as increased innovations.
If we are bringing these innovations, let them not be so frequent, because you are bringing another one when we want to acclimatize with the other one. It can cause us what? Problems.
For now, the public is urged to embrace the initiative and desist from vandalizing internet cables.
You would like to be able to, as a citizen, to have all your services find you in the comfort of where you are at. And that is why we do these services, so that we can stop people traveling so many kilometers.
The National Backbone and E-Government Infrastructure is a World Bank funded project. It aims at connecting districts and towns across the country, including government offices, via an optical fiber cable network. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Now, before we end the first segment, a government through the Ministry of Education and Sports introduced a non-formal training program in 2010 to equip youth owning land on self-sustenance. The initiative is part of the Skilling Uganda program, which is aimed at providing skills to every Ugandan. The following story highlights the importance of the Skilling Uganda project to learners as they strive to become self-sustaining future entrepreneurs.
Mbarara Municipal School is one of the model primary schools implementing the dual curriculum, where learners are subjected to vocational training in baking, tailoring, knitting, soap making, art and designing, and computer, alongside their basic general education. The school headmaster, Kananura Martin, calls on Ugandans to interest learners on vocational training when they are still young.
Through these vocational skills, if one is able to do tailoring or baking or computer, one can easily make a breakthrough in the future. We have seen very many students who have degrees but are on the streets. They don't have jobs.
At the end of the skills training program, learners undergo competence-based assessment and certification by the Directorate of Industrial Training under the Ministry of Education and Sports before sitting for their final primary leaving examinations.
Our assessment is competency-based assessment. However, you have to learn a skill. After that, learning the skill, you are assessed, you can market your product and earn a living. So both the primary kids, they can earn a living. However, it can also motivate them to continue with skills in secondary, and this is the foundation of the dual curriculum.
Dr. Mjenyi Godfrey Rwambuka, a parent, appreciates government's effort to fight poverty and unemployment among the youth through the skills training programs.
All children in Uganda need these skills. In whichever community they come from, they need the skills for their own future, for employment, for making their own jobs.
The beneficiaries of the initiative say the skills development programs will give them alternatives after completing their studies.
This liquid soap I'm trying to make, it will help me in future. In case I don't get a job, I will get self-employed.
We can also get more training when we go to higher education, as long as we have our certificates.
A total of 1,309 pupils have been assessed and certified by the Directorate of Industrial Training since 2017. Mtonyi Hilda and Henry Muganga for UBC.
And that story does bring us to the end of our very fast segment. We're going to take a short break, but do not go away, for News Tonight continues after this break.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Mommy, you can touch me, you can touch me. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare, contains paracetamol, caffeine...
333? What's up with number 3? It's 3 at Airtel and not 4 anymore. It's 3 shillings per second across all networks in Uganda.
Make calls from Airtel to all networks at 3 shillings per second. Get to talk to anyone on any network anytime at 3 shillings per second. Tuanze soze!
Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
NSP Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. Final blow. He is out. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Reward returning. Check target. Dial star 162 hash. Get 100% on data and bonus. Win instantly with Mega Master Pay. Just recharge and hit your target.
Mega Masape from Airtel is back, and everyone, we mean everyone, gets a bonus. All you have to do, check your target, recharge, get 100% bonus on data and minutes. Dial star 162 hash today to know your target.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Measles and rubella outbreaks are still being reported in some districts in Uganda, putting the lives of our children at risk. In order to stop these outbreaks and maintain a polio-free Uganda, the Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Parents and caretakers are hereby asked to take all children under 15 years of age for immunization at the nearest health facility or immunization post. Ministry of Health also calls upon everybody to report any child with a fever and generalized skin rash to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately. This could be measles or rubella. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
All patriotic Ugandans in schools, universities, markets, or online on 5th October 2019. Come dine and interact with
measles
at Kololo Airstrip in the Patriots Culture Mega Party. This time, the president will receive your proposals on nation building. Personally, a great day to interact with the head of state. Drinks, foods, and entrance all for free. If you don't trust our size of plates and mugs, come with your plate and Kavera to carry some food. So mark the date, 5th October 2019 at Kololo Airstrip. The Patriots Culture Mega Party organized by Balam and the National Patriots Secretariat. Powered by Radio 4 and Soon Susie.
Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and fever reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare contains paracetamol, caffeine, and aspirin. Beta Healthcare. Caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Welcome back. It's time for business as we start off with contracts management, where procurement and dispose of assets. PPDA is to collaborate with civil society organizations in enhancing integrity in the contracts management. The partnership is to help improve the quality and performance of public procurement contracts and its implementation, as we hear more in this report.
A goat at 1,100,000 shillings. A goat. What does it involve? Was it, did it fly from Denmark to Uganda? Maybe. But me, I'm looking at the goat. Why can't we buy it here, for example? In terms of ensuring value for money.
Fraud in procurement in the public sector is costing government billions of shillings. It is estimated that government loses over $500 million per annum in procurement.
Through shoddy work, through undelivered services, through contract variations, paying for air, which is around $500 million is quite a lot in terms of government loss.
Due to inadequate human resource, PPDA is now forging a strong partnership with the civil society organizations. It is expected that the CSOs will enable the authority fulfill its mandate. They will help PPDA in the fight against corruption, in addition to unearthing the flaws in public procurement across the procurement cycle.
The biggest challenge for this is its implementation. How to ensure that it is enforced? How to ensure that if you go to an entity and they don't give you information, there are sanctions for it. That is very important. But also is that we know that in contract management, so many things are very secretive. So how do we open up those contracts that are so confidential but have got high value for money? For us, I think that is the biggest challenge we are seeing ahead.
In a country where the civil society is often linked to opposition, how is this partnership of convenience expected to yield results?
Those who fear to work in the open, those who fear to do the right thing, those who are worried and work towards ensuring that there's no value for money from public procurement, are the ones who get worried.
Besides the collaboration, PPDA is also pushing for the setup of integrity units in government institutions to also help in observing and monitoring the implementation of the procurement contracts. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Welcome onto the international scene, where we start over with South Africa versus Nigeria. South African president is to hold his Nigerian counterpart in Pretoria. Now, the leaders of Africa's two superpowers, that is Nigeria and South Africa, are due to meet in the wake of the recent xenophobic attacks in Johannesburg, in which Nigerians were targeted. Let's hear more in this report.
The continental powerhouses have a lot to talk about. The state visit comes at a difficult time in their relationship.
We're really hoping that this will help improve the relationship. I mean, it has been through rocky times, probably always, but particularly at the moment. And I think the timing of the state visit is important because it's come quite close on the heels of the xenophobic attacks.
They both need one another to create the kind of economic dynamism and African unity that everybody talks about, but very few people actually practice. But at the same time, they compete for regional leadership.
The official government-to-government relationship goes back to 1999, when the Binational Commission was established.
There's a lot of outstanding practical issues and outstanding agreements and agreements that are not working that I'm told are going to be looked at again or that are no longer relevant because they've been sitting on the books for such a long time. So there's a lot of work to be done because the Binational is supposed to sit regularly, but it hasn't.
The regional dynamics are important, and the outcomes of wide-ranging discussions will be closely watched by both sides.
The truth of the matter is that South Africa needs Nigeria a lot more than Nigeria needs South Africa. The amount of trade is skewed in South Africa's favor. South African investment in Nigeria is very significant. And we could see, the fear, that South African businesses experienced when the retaliation began. So I would say that probably South Africa needs to do a little bit of a charm offensive.
One of the bugbears of visits and bilateral negotiations of this nature is that businesses on both sides generally aren't involved in the discussions and get the information after the fact.
This year we have actually sent input a lot of the issues that business is having, whether it be logistics, practical issues, licensing, permits, etc., bureaucracy, but also visas.
And in sports, after successfully taking part in the 6th round of the National Motocross Championship over the weekend in Garuga, riders will be gearing up for this weekend's Armed Forces Appreciation Motocross Championship, which is due in Vusika Racetrack on Sunday. Over 100 riders from Uganda, the host of the event, Kenya, South Africa, USA, DR Congo, and Israel, among others, will take to battle in a 3-heat event for top position. The event has been organized in appreciation of the tremendous work that UPDF is doing in terms of keeping peace for Ugandans, among others, engagements.
So this is one event, but this time around it is not us that is running it, but it's being run by the corporate world. As Audrey mentioned earlier on, planning for this event has been going on for the last 7 months. But we started small, started the meetings, and when you're talking the beginning of the year about March, and you're told that the event is going to happen on the 6th of October, one could very easily relax and say that is very far, it is quite a bit of time away before the event happens. But in the military, whatever we do, whatever you have to do, even if it's opening a door, you make sure you practice, you plan, and you make it perfect.
Well, that does bring us to the end of News Tonight at 8. But before we sign out, let's have Molen Kenyana give us the details of a weather forecast, and then we will sign out.
Once again, I want to welcome you to the Weather Center. My name is Molen Kenyana. Well, today evening, we're enjoying scattered showers across parts of the nation's capital. However, across parts of Kampala, we're seeing some scorching sun. Now, you weren't the only ones experiencing that. Today, we saw mostly sunny conditions across much of the country. And as of last night, throughout to morning, we saw some heavy showers across the Kotido. We had a total of 41.4 millimeters. We also had a total of 40.2 across Soroti. And looking at our satellites, we can see that the rain belt is now widely spread across the region. That explains the scattered showers that we have across the country. And also this might lead to a slight reduction in wet weather activities for the next couple of days. But let's move on to tomorrow's weather forecast. Well, in the morning, we're likely to start off with light showers. Those will be across the Lake Victoria Basin. And also in the country, we shall see approach sunshine, and that will be blending in with clouds. Now, later in the afternoon, we're likely to have light showers. Those will be across the northwestern, across parts of northern Uganda, as well as the eastern. We're also likely to see light showers across the western stretch. And also in the country, we shall maintain intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. We move on to our daytime highs, where we're seeing a maximum of 27 across Kampala. We shall have temperatures going up to 28. That will be across the Karamoja region. And Kabale Highlands temperatures will rise up to 24 degrees centigrade. Move over to some of the world cities where we're forecasting rainy conditions. Across the coastal region of Kenya, we shall have Mombasa temperatures going up to 28. We're also likely to have rainy conditions across Pretoria, but very warm weather expected over there. We'll have a maximum of 35 degrees centigrade. And with that, we come to the end of today's weather report. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a good day tomorrow.
Thank you very much there, Kenyana. Let's have the trick up on our headlines. Stories, Sorority University leadership arrested over alleged abuse of office. Doctor arrested for possession of illegal drugs. And on the international scene, President Buhari to hold town hall meetings with Nigerians living in South Africa. And in sports, Armed Forces Appreciation Motocross Championship on this weekend. I'm Patricia Lokoma Mogalu. Mohammed has been on sign language. Thank you so much for choosing us. Our next bulletin will come your way at 10 o'clock. Keep it UBC TV. Bye-bye.
Was brought to you by UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements. Brought to you by
Bettercool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn, and indigestion. Trust Bettercool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.